Can someone like this, and it's more of a psychological question, but you've dealt with so many different types of people. Is there ever any sort of forgiveness or coming back together for any member of the family to be with Ruby in any sort of healthy way down the road when she gets out, when these kids have been older, had some therapy, maybe worked on some healing? Or is it a case like this just always best where, Ruby's pretty much dead to them and should be for their own well-being? I think the concern would be that somebody's capable of doing this once and it's so ingrained in them. What's not to say they're going to try it again if they regain someone's trust?
Well, two things there. First of all, you would be shocked at how many people go back to their abusers'
Yeah.
children that forgive and they roll on. There's this saying that we always had in law enforcement, and that is a mom, even a bad mom, is better than no mom. And that's why you see these people, these kids that are abused, forgive and want that recognition and love and from their mom or
Hmm.
their father. Um,
Yeah.
in this case, their mom. So do I think that will happen here? I think it's very possible in some of the instances, and I think other of the kids will completely disown her.
Yeah.
But that's a psyche thing that
Yeah.
you see so often. So I anticipate that. Um, the other thing is you mentioned, can she turn it around? Can
Yeah.
she be a great person? This is my view on that. Just from dealing with these people. When I say these people, I mean abusers. They they can get better, but anyone who has the propensity to harm a child like that, it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
I'll never change my view on that because nobody's ever proved me wrong.
Yeah.
You can get counseling, you can get better for a while, but it's like taking somebody that's normal and saying, okay, I want you to beat your child to an inch of their life.
Hmm.
I want you to starve them. I
Yeah.
want you to put them in duct tape in a cellar. You'd say, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I love my child. I'm not doing that. That's the probability that you're going to get those types of people not to want to do that again.
Yeah. The fact that you're able to even do it once just shows your mind could go there again. You may say it won't, but it went there once. For some people, it's a no go. It's not going to happen for any reason whatsoever, no matter who says that to you. With Ruby, a lot more impressionable. Unfortunately, what this is probably going to set itself up as all these kids get older, is you probably will have some that will go back to wanting to have a relationship with mom just by sheer odds of numbers with the kids, and some that want to have nothing to do with her, which I'm going to guess is going to end up creating some tension within that relationship. Still allowing Ruby to kind of have her claws into everybody, even after all the damage that she's done. It's going to go on, until she's dead, and probably for the rest of these kids' lives.
Well, I really hope that Sherry can kind of take this matriarch role in that family and really be the one that cohesively bonds them and helps heal. Obviously, they need so much counseling and are receiving that. But I hope she's there for them. It seems like she will be. And I think that's the best ending we could have.
We didn't hear a lot about Kevin Franke in any of the interviews. I haven't read the book yet, so I don't know how much he talks about her dad in it. And he's really stayed out of the spotlight for the most part, as much as he could in this, other than being featured in a lot of Ruby's videos. Where do you think it stands there for any of his responsibility in this? Is there any, or is he a victim in this as well?
I've always said he is responsible as well. He's the quiet one that let it happen. And in addition, I will never be able to forget the video that I saw. It's a body worn camera video, and it's when uh, he goes after Sherry
Hmm.
for items that she took out of the house, which were
Yeah.
things like diaries and things like that. And he wanted them back. He said, those are my things,
Yeah.
which I'm sure implicated him and, probably didn't say such good things about him, perhaps. I don't know. And he wanted her arrested.
Yeah.
He meets with the officer and says, "Well, can't you?" I mean, I'm paraphrasing. Can't you put her in jail?
Yeah.
Can't you
I
arrest
remember
her?
that.
That was all I needed to see to understand out of his own lips his mindset toward his daughter. I can tell you, and I think your audience, would agree. As a parent, other than if your child's committed a horrible crime and you're trying to get them to, confess and go to law enforcement about or
Mhm.
something like that, you don't want to see your kid behind bars. You wouldn't even think anything about, "Hey, can you go out and arrest my kid because she took some of our books?"
Yeah.
And that was his mindset. Punishment, punishment, punishment. So you're never going to be able to convince me that he wasn't on board with
Yeah.
Ruby.
I think he was totally on board with it. I just wonder how much of his he had almost been brainwashed. I think it doesn't excuse his lack of accountability, lack of being the parent that stands up and says, "What you're doing is crazy. We're not doing that anymore, and I'm going to take my kids and get the hell out of here," which would be the responsible thing to do. But I mean, it's very easy for us to Monday morning quarterback it and say this is what you should do. But again, after years and years, I'm sure of abuse from Ruby, that was marketed as just quirky behavior, and oh, Ruby's being Ruby. That certainly probably takes its toll. I'm guessing or he probably had a fear of Ruby as well. Again, doesn't excuse anything, but I'm going to guess it probably existed.
Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, it'll take a lot for me to ever turn around after listening to how he had so much disdain for
Hmm.
his own child
Yeah,
and wanted her behind bars,
yeah,
Tony. And
yeah.
and and that was public. That's in front of a police officer. I always say people are on their best behavior in public and in front of the police. They're on their worst behavior when doors are closed.
Hmm.
What was he doing and saying when those doors were closed?
Do you think he's behind closed doors right now feeling shame for his actions, or do you think it's kind of like Ruby, where I don't know that she's capable of it?
I don't think so. I mean, if he did think that way, he has a huge platform throughout all mainstream media and social media. People would love to get an interview with him, and he would have a perfect stage to say contritely, "I am so sorry for what my children suffered.
Hmm.
I should have never let them alone with that monster. I'm a man, I can make a living, and I needed to protect my children." We're not hearing anything like that.
Yeah.
So I give him no pass. I'm sorry, Tony. I
No,
can't get there.
I
I just
agree.
can't.
I think it would be one thing if he came out and said, "Look, I failed. Here's my story. It's not an excuse, but here's my story, so you understand kind of the recipe of who I was at that time. I'm not that person anymore, and all I want is the forgiveness of my family and my kids, and I hope that I can earn that back." We've heard nothing of that. Really, the last thing we saw, I think, publicly, and I could be wrong, was exactly what you're talking about. That video last year when Ruby was going down, and then Sherry was trying to get her stuff. And it was exactly what you said. Can you arrest her? As she's just trying to get her stuff. Shocking story. And now hearing it from the kid's perspective makes it even more real and dark, darker than I think we even thought it could have been. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Bruschi, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.